Okay, so get this. We're diving into bath products today.
Really, bath products.
Yeah, I was looking over the notes you sent over from that Mom Bomb podcast, and honestly, it got me thinking, like, are we as careful about what we use in the bath as we should be?
It's interesting, right? Most people don't really think about it much, but it makes sense to be just as aware of what we put on our bodies as what we put in them.
Right. And this episode, they were talking about how important it is for moms, especially, to pay attention to those ingredients. They even mentioned something called, get this, endocrine disruptors. Have you heard of those?
Yeah, endocrine disruptors are basically chemicals that can mess with our hormones. And hormones are a pretty big deal. They control so much, like mood, sleep, even how our bodies grow.
Okay, so you're telling me that my kid's bubble bath could be messing with their sleep schedule.
Well, I don't want to scare anyone. But yeah, it's a possibility. And actually, children are even more sensitive to those effects because they're still growing and developing.
Okay, now I'm a little freaked out. What exactly are these things? Like, the podcast specifically called out parabens, phthalates, and what was the other one? Triclosan?
Yeah, those are some of the big ones, and you see them everywhere. Parabens are often used as preservatives, but some studies show they can actually mimic estrogen in the body.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, and that could be a concern, especially for young girls, because it can actually lead to early puberty.
Wow, I did not know that. And what about phthalates? What are those all about?
Phthalides, those are usually added to plastics to make them more flexible, but they can also be found in fragrances.
Mm.
And those have been linked to a whole other set of problems, like,
Mm.
you know, reproductive issues and even developmental
Oh
delays.
no. Okay, this is getting scary. And triclosan, that one sounds intense.
Yeah, so triclosan is antibacterial, which sounds good, right? But it's been found to mess with our thyroid function, which
Mm.
is crucial for like our metabolism and even how our bodies grow.
So it's like a hidden danger lurking in our shower caddies.
Kind of, yeah. It's like they say, knowledge is power. The more we know about these things, the better choices we can make.
So true. Okay, but how do we even know what to look for? These ingredient lists might as well be written in hieroglyphics.
Tell me about it. It's totally overwhelming. Mom Bomb mentioned this app, Think Dirty. Oh, you heard of it. You can just scan the barcode and it gives you a safety rating.
Whoa, that sounds amazing, like a secret decoder ring for bath products.
Right. And they talked about how important it is to look for products that say fragrance-free or naturally scented, because a lot of times those hidden chemicals are lurking in the fragrances.
That makes sense. But those natural products are always so much more expensive. Is it really worth the extra cost?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But Mama made a good point. They see it as an investment you're investing in your family's health.
That's a good point. It's easy to get caught up in the price of things, but I mean, you can't really put a price on your health, right? But I have to admit, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. Where do you even begin?
Totally. It's a lot to take in. One thing Mom Bum said that I thought was really helpful was don't try to do everything at once.
Oh, good, because I was about to have a meltdown in the bath aisle.
Right. They suggested starting small, like maybe just swap out your kids' bath products first since, kids are more vulnerable to this stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. Start with the little ones. Did they have any recommendations for specific brands?
They didn't name any specific brands. I thought that was kind of refreshing, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because everyone's budget is different, and what
Mm.
works for one person might not work for another. It's more about giving people the tools to make their own informed decisions.
That makes sense. So instead of recommending brands, what did they say?
Well, they talked about looking for certifications like the Made Safe seal. Have you seen that one?
I don't think so. What is that?
It basically means the product has been screened for all those harmful chemicals we were talking about.
Oh, so it's like a shortcut, so I don't have to stand in the aisle squinting at tiny labels.
Exactly. And they also said health food stores are a good place to check out because they often have a curated selection of safer products.
Oh, that's a good tip. Honestly, I sometimes forget about the smaller stores.
Right. But they can be a goldmine for this kind of stuff. I feel like we could do a whole deep dive on just health food stores.
Seriously. Okay, so we've talked about the scary stuff, the endocrine disruptors and those tongue twister chemicals, but this has been really eye-opening. It's not something I ever really thought about before.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's easy to overlook, but once you start paying attention,
It's kind of scary.
it can be.
Yeah.
But like you said earlier, knowledge is power. Once we're aware of these things, we can start making different choices.
Exactly. It's not about being afraid to take a shower. It's about being informed and making conscious choices about what we're putting on our bodies and our kids' bodies.
Exactly. And it's bigger than just bath products, right?
What do you mean?
Well, it makes you think about All the other products we use every day, our food, our cleaning supplies, even our clothes, it's all connected.
Oh, wow. You're blowing my mind here.
It's a lot. But the good news is there's a growing awareness about this stuff. People are starting to ask more questions and demand better from the companies they support.
So it's like by learning about this stuff and making different choices, we can actually make a difference.
Exactly. Every time we choose a product that's free of those harmful chemicals, we're sending a message.
That's pretty cool. So it's not just about being like a paranoid consumer, it's about being an informed consumer and using our purchasing power to make the world a tiny bit better, one bath product at a time.
Yes, I love that. It's not about being perfect. It's about being aware and taking those small steps.
It's like we have to be detectives in the drugstore now.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But hey, at least it's making us more aware.
That's true. So, okay, we've covered a lot of ground here. Endocrine disruptors, those scary chemical names, those apps that sound like they should be on everyone's phone. But what's the big takeaway here? What do we do with all this information?
Well, I think the biggest thing is just realizing that we have a choice. We don't have to just blindly buy whatever's on the shelf. We can actually make a difference.
By being informed consumers.
Exactly. And starting with something as simple as our bath products. It's a small step, but it's a step in the right direction.
I love that. So it's not about being overwhelmed, it's about being empowered.
Exactly. And remember, every little bit helps.
Well said. Thanks for taking this deep dive with me. I feel like I learned a ton, and I'm definitely going to be looking at my bath products a little differently from now on.
Me too. It's been great chatting with you.